Gauteng ANC elective conference adjourned on a sour note after the gathering was unable to adopt credentials. This comes after a rocky start yesterday where the Provincial Executive Committee was locked in a marathon meeting to determine the voting status of 9 quarantined votes from the Ekurhuleni conference. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo is standing by with a preview of what to expect today. She's joining us from Benoni where the conference will be taking place. And that's just it. Hey, what to expect today, especially when it comes to voting?
You know, voting seems like a pipe dream if you recall what happened until late last night. The conference was unable to adopt credentials, and this is something that we've seen across the board. And really, when it comes to credentials, it's talking about who are the rightful people then to be a part of this conference. And this, of course, then affects exactly what you're asking about, the numbers. Who are going to be the rightful people to cast their ballot when that time arrives? According to the program, at around 9 o'clock today, it was meant to be the nominations process for the top 5 officials, but none of that can go ahead until the issue of credentials has been resolved. And what I'm told by those close to, the backdoor negotiations is that there's also there was until late in the early hours of this morning discussions about possibly uniting the slate, so having a mixed bag of candidates, to be voted for. You'll know that there are 2 factions. There's the Adiwele faction, which is supporting Lebogang Meile, and then there's the Unity and Renewal one, which is supporting Banyaza Lesofie. So because of just how tightly contested then this conference is and the potential that it has to further divide the organization, there are now talks about possibly, taking candidates from both slates.
We heard from the outgoing chairperson, David Makura, yesterday in the chairman's report. He was quite scathing, especially where this issue of renewal is concerned, talking about people who are serving their own interests in the party and who are not necessarily looking out for the party or for the people of Gauteng, and that needing to change. So if this does eventually get underway, whomever is elected, what is the task ahead of them?
A huge task ahead of not only the newly elected chairperson, but the collective of the ANC going forward. You'll recall that since 2016, after losing Johannesburg, this particular province has been seeing a continued decline in their electoral gains since 2016, and they have not been able to claw back. In fact, they've just continued to decline. That's one of the major tasks ahead. But really, also, the risk here is that come 2024, that, they'll lose the province, and that David Makura could very well be the last Gauteng premier from the ANC. And you'll see already, I would argue, that there's already a lot of campaigning in full swing in the province of Gauteng. And so whatever happens at this conference will have a direct and material impact on the prospects and the public confidence that the ANC is able to instill in citizens of Gauteng to possibly vote for them come 2024. A mammoth task ahead. It's always difficult once having lost then a particular region or a particular province to claw back, that support and claw back that power. If you look at just the example of the Western Cape, ever since the ANC lost power there in the early 2000s, it's never been able to regain that lost traction. So this is exactly the concern that really should be on the minds of delegates, not just from who do we elect in the leadership collective perspective, but also in terms of policies, also in terms of really doing some deep introspection about why it is then that the citizens of this province no longer believe in the ANC as an organization. And when you have issues such as credentials crises before a conference is meant to take place, I'm sure that also is not reflecting well from someone who is not an ANC member.
An empty hall where you are at this hour at least, but the stage has been set for someone looking to plan their day. What time can we expect proceedings to get underway there?
I love that question so much because it's always such a difficult one to respond to. Look, the program tells us that it should have already gotten underway by now, but it looks like around 10, 11 o'clock then there should be a resumption of the program where the issue of credentials, the impasse really over the credentials will finally be dealt with. How long will that take? No one really knows. And really, since the delays from yesterday, everything has pretty much been pushed back. So hopefully 10 o'clock, but I cannot bet my last dollar on that.
We've been here before, so for anyone looking to set their day, you can grab the popcorn, your favorite cup of beverage, and Newzroom Afrika will take care of you throughout the course of the morning into the afternoon. Ziyanda, Ngcobo, thank you very much for that update.